Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's week is going well so far. I am Kat, the Nurse Slipper. I'm joined by Rod, my co-host, picking and punching. Below me is somebody you should know. He has been on several times before. That is Jake from JRide Flips. And catty corner to me is Will. It is his first time on from Reseller Madness. So I am going to make them big, let them introduce themselves. If you have questions, get them in early to make sure that they get answered. And here is Jake.
Hi, my name is Jake from JRide Flips. This is my third time being on the show, and I'm just excited as I was the first two times.
And he's everywhere. His name is the same. Now I have to advertise for him.
Yep.
All right, here's Will.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Will, go by Reseller Madness. I've maybe been YouTubing 2 years, something like that. I like to do unusual reselling videos, something that you've never seen before. Usually a lot of humor to it, whether I'm going to a yard sale without moving my feet at all or shipping packages to the fifth dimension. I want to give you something you haven't seen before. And that's what I like to do on my channel.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to start a poll with this first question because I want the audience's opinion on this. So the poll is now up for you to give your input. Laura is asking us, she says she got an email from eBay regarding a change in calculated shipping showing our discounted rate to customers beginning May 15th. I did not get that email, but I have heard about that email, and she's saying she wants to opt out of it. Do you think that is a good move?
Sweet.
So are we going to answer it on the panel as well? And then
I think we should answer it. I'm interested to hear everybody's opinion on this as well.
Yep. So my business, I have about 1,600 items on eBay. Everything above 3 pounds, I have calculated shipping, and then everything below 3 pounds, I have flat rate shipping, and I do no free shipping. This change is definitely going to affect my store. I always make money on the shipping. I send out a lot of subwoofers, receivers, DVD, VCR combo players, and I charge the customer what they would pay at USPS, and then I use the eBay discounts. So if I'm sending a DVD, VCR combo player to Kansas, for example, they probably pay about $22 in shipping, and then it costs me about $11 to ship it. And I pocket that $11 minus fees, minus bubble wrap, minus time toward my profits. Things will definitely be changing once that happens on, May 15th. I think that I will be opting out of it. I believe that my sales may go down for a period because everyone that will stay opted into it will receive an increase in sales because people will see, oh, JRide and this person has the exact same item, but his shipping is $18 and this person's shipping is only $9.82. I'm going to buy that one, but then it'll eventually catch up and everything will do the bell curve and I'll be hunky dory.
Yeah, this is actually the first time hearing about this, but I'm on calculated shipping already for literally everything because I don't like to do the math. I like to know how much I'm going to make when I send somebody an offer and not have to think about, am I undercutting my shipping? What am I? So I give everybody the eBay rate and it's all calculated. And the price I set for my item is the price I'm actually going to make.
So I use calculated shipping for majority of my listings. I don't really use free shipping. Not that there is any free shipping anyway, because the buyer or seller eats that cost one way or another. I would say with my business, with calculated shipping, that does help cover because here's the thing with eBay, we pay taxes on collecting that money. Everything from shipping to the cost of the item, everything that eBay takes in, we pay taxes on that. So it is a little discouraging knowing now that if I'm going to be giving that same rate to the buyer, unfortunately, it's going to cut into our business. So I am actually going to opt in, not opt out. Just the fact that I have to be competitive with the market. I already priced my items competitive with the market, and I'm going to, pass the savings on to my customers. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but you guys get what I'm saying here. That does help cover, gas, like Jake was saying, my supplies, my gas, my time, packing that stuff up. So yeah, it is a little discouraging. With that eBay is making us make a choice on that, but it's what they do, man. We have to adapt and change. I mean, that's what we keep doing in the reselling business. Some things we like, some things we don't like, and you just have to keep moving forward. But it's gonna be business as always.
So it looks like, why can I not? 42% are saying they're opting out. 17% say no, which means they are opting in, and 40% are not sure. I didn't get the email, and from what I see in the chat, if I didn't get the email, they might not be automatically opting me in if they're rolling it out. And I just went and looked through my messages from eBay, and it definitely is not there. So I did not get that. When I do, I think I will opt out. It's just like you're paying fees on that. So they're just going to be getting more fees, and it's coming from your pocket versus it's coming from the seller's pocket, or the buyer's pocket, not the seller's. So I'm with Jake. I think I will not pass it on. If I did pass it on, I would probably add a handling fee. So it would just end up more anyways. Wendy's saying she watched YouTube, said that if you opt out, eventually eBay will make everybody do it. They can make you do it, but we also can go and add handling fees to all of our listings as well. And you can bulk do that if you would like.
6 of one, half dozen of the other, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, they're automatically going to opt you in if you don't choose anything either. Is that correct? If you don't make
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, you're automatically opted in unless you opt out. But like I said, I didn't get that email. So CC saying my contention is if we do calculated actual shipping, we should not be charged a fee. And I agree with that. But if you go and change it, then it could end up different. You could go put calculated shipping on 20 pounds and collect that money, and it only weighs 4 pounds. There's ways around that system, which is why eBay started charging fees on it in the first place. So, I mean, you could theoretically, like for lighter items, add like 4 ounces, so you get like that extra $1 or something to cover it. I wouldn't go adding pounds, because that, like with the cost of shipping now, that would just totally tank your sales, I think.
Sorry, can I piggyback off that real quick?
Yeah.
So right now, when I have an item that's over 3 pounds, I do a 12 by 12 by 12 measurement, which it would cost. So if I had like a receiver for it, I'll just pull up an example.
So what he's talking about is the cubic shipping rate.
Yeah.
No.
So this would be bigger than a 12 by 12 by 12. After 12 by 12 by 12, the rates start to increase. And they increase dramatically at USPS, and our discount from eBay also dramatically increases. So what I do is I actually put this at 12 by 12 by 12, even though it's probably going to end up being like a 20 by 10 by 6, which is above the 12 by 12 metrics. What that does is it saves the customer a little bit from what they would be charged if I did the exact dimensions. And then it also saves me money because I get to use the eBay discounts. Now, hearing Kat say that about adding a few ounces, I may actually just start putting everything in as 14 by 14 by 14. Or I may be doing the exact measurements plus 5 inches. I'll definitely be messing around with that and keep you guys updated on my channel on what I'll be doing moving forward.
So, Jake, I got a question for you. Have you ever been caught by putting in the wrong measurements?
No, so I just put like the item, I list the item as 12 by 12 by 12. And then when they buy it, right before shipping it, I change it to what it actually is.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
21 by 6 by 10.
'Cause
And then
I
it
know
charges me, instead of charging me like $9, it charges me $13.
Gotcha.
And then, but they still paid like 21.
Because that's what Whatnot's, if you just use the regular shipping label, they up to 5 pounds and put everything as 12 by 12 by 12.
Yeah, thanks for asking that clarifying question.
Yeah, I was like
stammer for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like there are people in the chat that have received the email, and there are people in the chat that have not. So it looks like, honestly, it's pretty even whether people are opting out or they're not sure. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, we have a few weeks before it takes place. I wish there was a way that we could give them some of it. Like, I would be fine giving them like half of the discount, you know, where I keep a little bit to cover the eBay fees and my supplies. But unfortunately, that's not an option. LaDonna was saying in the chat too that Etsy does that, which I didn't even realize that when I was selling on Etsy. She's saying Etsy gives the buyer the pirate ship rate. So basically they're getting the discounted rate, and it's not an option on Etsy to get that increase. And on Mercari and Posh, you don't make anything on shipping, but they also don't charge you fees on shipping. So
I think, Kat, I think the big problem is that eBay's calculated shipping is broken sometimes. You know, it's just not correct. You know, there's times I put in the measurements.
And you need that overage sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, there's times where like I'm shipping something from Florida to California, and they're going to charge a buyer like $36, and it's like $12. You know, and I have the proper measurements in, the proper weight in. You know, and if I go to the website and I do it myself, it's going to be completely different. So it's just. I mean, sometimes, yes, sometimes it's right on, or just, you know, slightly off $1 or $2, which is fine. I'm cool with that. But like, there's times where I see a buyer messaging me, "Why is your shipping so high?" Because I'm using calculated shipping, and I know it's off. You know, like it's just how eBay is.
I shipped a Bose subwoofer to New York, and it charged them $78, and that was using 14 by 12 by 12, which on the extremely huge packages, I make it even 2 inches wider, and it's still a significant discount. So if I did the exact measurements and the exact weight, it probably would have been like $205 shipping.
And I think for us too, that we see those drastic shipping changes, because, you know, we're shipping from coast to coast, or if you're located in the center of the U.S. or the Midwest, something like that, you're not going to see a drastic change in that calculated shipping compared to someone shipping from California to like New York, or from Florida like to Washington. I mean, because that's where mine was to. It was either California or Washington. I don't remember, but
yeah, it's hard when you're in the corner of the country, because like the shipping rates across the country are absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, I don't know. We end up like, I have most I'm like spot on, but some I'm under and some I'm over. So that's where, like, for me, the discount kind of saves my butt, you know, on the ones that I'm over and under on.
Because you're working on the rule of averages, because you're overall, you're not going to lose money. You're still going to be in the positive, because that, you know, under and over a little bit there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Soda City Flips said that JRide loves Soda City Flips and dolphins.
I do.
And
Sure do.
I want to tell you guys, all of the super chats tonight are going towards Honey, the blind cat again. He is having surgery a week from today. He's getting his eyeballs closed. So they'll quit getting infected, and he's already blind, so he can't see anyways. And he's going to get neutered. Honey is going to have his surgery. It is scheduled for a week from today. So tonight's the last night that I can take super chats for it, because next Tuesday he'll have already had his surgery. So should we give him Kevin?
You guys have a Kevin one?
Here. He hasn't seen Kevin yet. But I think we need.
He hasn't seen it yet?
He hasn't seen it yet. So.
Okay. We're doing Kevin. Sorry, close your eyes.
Oh, yeah, that was a great one.
The best part about it is, like, so those at home can't see our faces. So I'm in the bottom corner. I can see everyone's face, and I watch Jake. As soon as Kevin showed up in the Bane suit, he went, "Oh!" Turned his head.
So Rachel's saying, if Whatnot and Poshmark can do flat rate up to £5, I'm assuming eBay, not Energy. eBay could too. Well, you can do it. You can do flat rate up to £70. All you have to do is pick the flat rate box. So if your item's heavy and it'll fit in a large flat rate, you can do it.
I think she's talking about the 835 or 895.
Yeah, but you have to pay the difference. If it's more and you haven't used up your 5 on whatnot, the seller pays that difference. If it is not in a flat rate box, you're paying. And it's a lot sometimes. It's not like, oh, you can ship 20 pounds for $9 and whatnot's not going to charge you. If it's not in a flat rate box, whatnot charges you.
You know, I know, but she's talking about up to 5 pounds though, you know, because they have a flat rate fee on whatnot of $8.35, anything up to 5 pounds. So she's saying that why can't eBay incorporate the up to 5 pounds, the $8.35 charge?
They'll do it in any box. I don't think I knew this. I'm clicking on this. I thought it still had to be in the flat rate.
No, it's not. No, so flat rate boxes start at the medium rate is $15, and then the large one is $21. But you can actually run flat rate boxes on whatnot for $15. They have a deal with the postal service where it's $8.35 for up to 5 pounds. Yeah, for your box.
I didn't know that.
Well, you should.
That's good to know because I've been making Brooke put it in the flat rate boxes.
No, yeah. So I mean, you've been shipping a lot of jewelry though, so I mean, you may not have big.
Most of it's small, but I mean, when we did lots and when we did linens, those were heavy. I did linen lots, and those were very, very heavy.
So, Kat, when I run my whatnots, I actually do max shipping for all my items now for $8.35, and then
I do that too.
Yeah, and then I pay the difference on there. But a lot of times when people are buying it, I may eat maybe. I mean, say if I do a show and I sell 100 items, I may eat $50 or $60. But if I spread that out over all my items, I'm only paying an extra 50 cents or $1 per item. So I'm okay with that. Yeah. You know, there's 1 or 2 items I'll lose money on. The rest of it, though, I work with the rule of averages for the show. But it's really good to help the buyer to increase them to buy more. You know, with
right. Because they're not worried about the shipping. Right. And I see all the honey super chats. And what we'll do is every so often I will grab all of them and we'll do a group super chat. All right. Wendy, I actually researched for you, my friend. Wendy is asking, is eBay oversaturated with Corningware? The answer to be, if you want to say just Corningware, the answer is yes. There are 200,000 listed and only 14,000 sold, which is less than a 10% sell-through rate and means it's going to take an average of 2 years or more for a piece to sell. But there are always I don't care what it is, there are always rare pieces that will sell and they will sell fast. So it really depends on the pattern that you have in the piece. So if you have Corningware, I would recommend looking up the pattern. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the next question for Mary because it is also about Corningware, saying she has a cover that has a slight chip. Would you sell it and disclose? Well, if it's one of those common patterns I just mentioned, it's not going to sell. Again, if it's a rare pattern, yes. If it is not, if it's like that lovely cornflower pattern that is absolutely everywhere, then I would throw it away. If it is a rare pattern, then yes. So if you generalize Corningware overall, it sucks. But I'm not going to say all of it because it's not all of it. There are going to be pieces that'll sell and sell high, but the majority of them are not good. All right. Rita says, when the package doesn't arrive on the expected date and the customer wants a refund, do I wait until I get the item back?
Okay, just real quick, answering that last question. Bose,
oh, yeah, go.
Bose is one of, I've made tens of thousands of dollars just selling Bose equipment. There's 120,000 Bose items listed and only 65,000 have sold. So just over a 50% sell-through rate on one of the fastest selling best products you can find. So the name of reselling, I make a living on TikTok by telling people don't buy CDs. They're absolutely worthless. But everyone knows metal CDs, hip hop CDs. There's a ton of exclusive CDs. I actually just sold a CD for $200 last week that was imported from Holland. So like our job as resellers is finding the 1 to 5% of items that actually sell within categories and within brands. And so yes, Corningware, super saturated, but Pioneer, whatever style, not saturated at all. So that's literally what our job as resellers is. But on this question, here we go. Unfortunately, I have a video saying that I have fallen below standard on eBay, and I'm going to be there. It actually looks like I'm only going to be there for 60 days now instead of 90, because I've been talking with representatives, and I actually got one more taken off of my account. But and there's a lot of videos out right now about how USPS is making a ton of errors and things like that, and a lot of packages aren't getting delivered. I actually have 2 right now. I just barely got 2 more messages today saying, hey, this hasn't arrived and it's been 22 days or 9 days, whatever. Wow. But anyway, I don't think that's what the actual question is. When package doesn't arrive on expected date and the customer wants to refund. No, okay, yeah. So this is exactly why my account went below standard and the exact 2 cases that I just received today. You have to refund them by the last day of the case, or you will get a buyer seller, no seller resolution defect. And if you have 0.3% of those, then you fall below standard, which is the situation that I'm in. So it sucks. But if it hasn't made it to them and they have opened an item not received case and tracking shows that it hasn't been updated, I was told by several eBay representatives that you just keep updating it. But I did that and I got 7 defects in 2 days. So you gotta
wow.
Ouch.
Yeah.
As far as waiting till the item comes back, as long as it is within the case, I do always wait until I get the item back because I want to make sure I'm getting the right item. Rarely have I regretted giving a refund early, but those times I did, I really regretted it. So if it's within the case, I say definitely wait till it's in your hand. I've actually had a number of people say, yeah, I want my money back. I'm going to send it back. And they just never even sent it back.
Yep.
They never bothered to. Mm-hmm. Love it when that happens. Long as I haven't refunded.
So anytime a buyer reaches out to me and say, hey, the thing wasn't there in time, it is an estimate. So I always tell the buyer, when eBay puts up, it is an estimated shipping time. It's not the exact shipping time, because that's what it does say, their estimated shipping arrival. Secondly, I tell the buyer, I have no control over the postal service. The proper steps will be to open a case on eBay. I want the buyer to open a case on eBay because you want everything to go through eBay. And the reason I do that is because then that gives me extra time to deal with that issue. Also, too, if there is any problems or escalate and the buyer doesn't follow up, the case will automatically close. But, you need to take the proper steps to that. And, things happen. There's natural disasters. People, postal service gets in car accidents. Like, packages get misdirected. I'll give you guys a spoiler. There's a video going to come up probably over the weekend, but I sold $2,000 in Department 56 stuff, and my packages got redirected to Canada. So right now I am sweating bullets. Let's just say, okay. So yeah, I'm dealing with that right now. So things happen. They put it on the wrong truck and it goes the wrong way. It's just part of life. There's nothing you can do about it. But having to open the case, when they open a case, you have an X amount of time to respond to that case. And like Jake said, you have to the last day to update it. Once you update, then it goes through the proper steps on there. So it does help you buy time. But that's what I do. That I tell customers during the wintertime to do that all the time, because especially with like the snowstorms and stuff like that, it will get delayed. And if it's because of weather or something like that, eBay will go in there, especially if the Postal Service puts an alert on their website that there's been delays. eBay will go in there and add additional time to your case automatically for you due to weather conditions. So that's happened to me multiple times in the past. A lot of people don't know that. So that's why I always wait till pretty much the last day to respond to those. I will send the buyer emails, say, hey, I'm just waiting for the updates and stuff like that. So I won't respond to the case. I'll send the buyer just to keep them warm. I'll send them emails, but you actually you have an X amount of time to respond to the case before the buyer can tell eBay to step in. So I make sure to update it right before the time eBay can step in. And if it's weather or other issues, eBay will allow you to have additional anywhere from 5 to 10 days on that. So I don't remember, it's 5 or 7 days they have added to my cases in the past.
So I want to point out something that nobody said. Everything they said is if somebody opens a case. If that person emails you and says, hey, my item hasn't arrived, they don't have a case yet. The clock is not ticking on you yet. So if you keep them in messages, as long as humanly possible, you have longer to wait. So the only time you have to refund them is what everybody was saying is by the end of a claim. So if that buyer has went on eBay, filed a item not received case, you have, is it 3 days, Jake? I think it's 3.
Yeah. It's 3.
You have 3 days to give the buyer a refund. So you wait until the 3rd day. You don't let it go to day 4. What happened to Jake is what will happen to you. But if they're just in your messages, you don't have to give them that refund. And I know it sounds sucky, but like Will was saying, the majority, not the majority, I don't want to say the majority are crappy. Most people, if you get a refund, I know if I get a refund and then I get the item, I'm going to send it back because I'm a seller. However, a lot of the population is not going to. They're going to be like, oh, I got my money and look, now I got my item too. I want to tell you, I have a payment dispute on eBay right now that I am ticked about, and it is still in limbo. The lady asked the post office to hold a $100 bracelet, and it says on the tracking, held at post office by customer's request. Well, guess what? I have no proof it's delivered. And she filed a dispute with her credit card company, and from what I read, typically USPS, if it's held at the post office, sends it back in 10 days. Well, guess what? They haven't, because she asked them to hold it. So she's going to get her money back on this dispute, is probably what's going to happen. And then she's going to go pick up this $100 bracelet.
That's funny.
And it's BS. Like,
yeah.
I'm so ticked about that.
So with me, I have a PO box. So when I realized my whatnot orders, they don't. I'll get notification that they arrived to the postal service, but it won't actually send me a notification that they're actually delivered to me until I actually go and pick them up. So yeah, that's true though. When you go pick it up, it will do that. That's weird. And
she is doing this on, like, she asked them to hold it and then filed a dispute. So I guarantee it sounds like somebody knows what they're doing, which is really, really frustrating. And I tried to call the post office. It's in Seattle. So if anybody's in Seattle and you could go to a post office for me, please tell me. Please, I will send you some money, because it rings and then it goes busy. I can't get anybody at the post office to answer because I want them to send my package back, and tell them, hey, here's what's going on. The lady filed a dispute. And what is an IC3 claim? I have a notebook. I'm going to write that down, but tell me what that is.
Internet crimes, cyber crimes.
Oh. Have you tried
Okay.
Internet.
Have you tried to have the package shipped back to you?
I think like 600 people got arrested for things like this last year, so she might get what's coming to her.
So
you could reach out to the postal inspector too. There's local postal inspectors in all the different areas, and they oversee.
They told me to call the post office, which is what rang, and it rang and rang, and then it went busy like 4 times. I tried at different times of the day. It rang. It's on, I think, like 4th Avenue, Miss Wildlife. I think 4th Avenue or 14th in Seattle. And yeah. Well, no, we can answer her real quick. Beachwalker, not all of us are opted in. Rod and I like to click things at the same time. So when you see stuff flash on and off, that's me and Rod both hitting it at the same time. They apparently, not everybody's going to be opted in the 15th. They're rolling it out. So if you didn't get the email, I looked in my messages from eBay is how I double checked, because everything goes in messages from eBay and then it copies you to your email. So that's where I went and looked.
So so my understanding is they opened a credit card dispute already against you. Is that correct?
They did.
And then so the crappy thing about a credit card dispute is through eBay, you only have 5 days to respond to those. And then
I responded with a screenshot showing the customer asked to be held at post office.
Gotcha.
Whether that works or not, I don't know.
How long ago did you submit that?
It's been 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Wow.
But it's $100. It's not like a little, it's not a little purchase. It's a freaking $100. If I got the bracelet back, I wouldn't care. And I'm messaging her and she's totally ignoring me. I'm like, of course you're ignoring me because you're trying to pull a fast one.
30 minutes in, we've pretty much only discussed shipping issues. It's been pretty wild this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has. And somebody said it earlier in the chat, and somebody messaged me as well. From what I've heard, there are big increases coming to shipping costs as well. So
yeah,
beware.
I mean, every 6 months we get shipping costs, so we should all expect that to come. But
yeah,
that's another benefit of calculated shipping on this stuff. I held items for too long and I had flat rate on them from 2 years back. That quickly got outdated.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure.
Well, I once used a free shipping model, and the part of the reason why I switched off a free shipping model because with the increases, because you have an increase every 6 months, but then you also have the Christmas time increase with the postal service as well. So during the fourth quarter,
and then they never go back down this time. So, we'll just keep it at Christmas rates, and then we'll raise it again in a few months.
So I would have to go back and actually add additional money to my items, and then items in there that were still sitting there for like a year. I'm like, well, now this item's really not going to sell. I got free shipping. Now I'm increasing the price of it. Better just getting rid of it now.
Right. Yeah, for sure. All right. DeCamper is saying, what's a good rule to remember in regard to Trifari brooches? I don't know by remember you mean as far as price. Then you say pricing. I would say look for one similar. There's no rule because that's the same thing as a Corningware. It could be worth $5. It could be worth $500. I would look for something similar, and I would probably look on WorthPoint if I can't find it on eBay. Like if it's got pearls or gold tone or the shape, or, I would try and use words on WorthPoint to find it because it could be a really rare one that's worth a lot. So there's no general rule I'm going to use for anything, guys. I am looking stuff up, especially if you can't find it. That either means it's really rare or it's really crappy and no one wants it. And it could be either one, right? Like I just sold 3 Robert Rakes bears. That's another I bet I could search to sell through, and it's horrible. Not 50% Jake horrible, like 10% cat horrible. But I sold 2 one for $89, one for $120, both within 6 hours. And then the third one sold for $70 a day later. And I only picked up 5 out of 100 somebody donated. So, and I'll tell you, none of them had comps on eBay. None listed, none sold. I had to use WorthPoint for every single one to look them up. So,
yeah, there really is something to that. Just taking the best of the best and leaving all the rest for somebody else to pick.
It's hard. It's hard, especially when you're like Kat, who needs to fill her buggy up. It's hard, but I picked 5 bears, 5 out of 100. And I've already, with the first 2 bear sales, I paid for my full buggy that day is already paid for within 6 hours of listing 2 things.
Love it.
Yes, it was beautiful. Chance is asking, it's a shipping kind of night, Jake. It's a shipping kind of night. It started and it has set the tone. Can you adjust the label after the buyer purchases, or will it be like Mercari labels?
If I'm understanding the question correctly, on eBay, yes. So you can put just what's called a calculated what you think the package is going to be like. So for example, I did the 12 by 12 by 12, but then if I sold something that was 18 by 18 by 22, then I would pull it up on my eBay shipments or on Pirate Ship, which is what I use, and then I put in the actual weight and the actual measurements, and then I ship it out. Also, sometimes people, they guess what they think it's going to be, and then they actually are wrong. They're a little under, so they think that something is going to be 14 ounces, but it actually ends up being 1 pound, 1 ounce. Definitely
which is the 2 pound rate.
Yeah, definitely change it to the 2 pound rate, or else you're going to receive USPS. I know the sentiment is pretty negative about USPS right now, but they're pretty cool when it comes to adjustments. Like usually, so on Pirate Ship, if you'll allow me to pull up my numbers here real quick. Last year,
yeah, go ahead.
Last year, in 9 months, I did $32,715.37 in shipping labels, and I got charged an additional $716.69 because I was off by an inch or 2 on 13 UPS packages. So they charged me an additional $48, $31, $29. And then I was wrong on 2 USPS shipments, and those were packages that were over 7-8 pounds, and they only charged me an additional $1.89 and $2.58. So USPS is a lot more forgiving than UPS, but you definitely want to make sure that you put the exact, even after the fact, after that it's sold, make sure that you put in the true measurements and the true weight. And sorry, one last tip. If I have a package that's 18 by 18 by 20, I enter it in as 19 by 19 by 21, especially if it's going UPS, because they charged me an extra $800 last year.
She
Ouch.
she actually added additional. She said this is in regards to the early discussion on the new shipping policy on eBay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll still, and that's actually one of the other questions that we can go ahead and answer because it's super similar. Where did it go? Yes. So Art is saying if you don't use calculated shipping, yes, eBay will still sell you the discounted shipping label. That's one of your benefits for selling on there. That's not going to be taken away. All right. Let me go through Honey super chats and we'll do one for everybody. So Laura sent $2. Listen, and I say this every time, Honey is not a poor little honey. This blind cat is the worst cat. Like, it hides under the microwave cart and whacks people as they go by. It scratched up one of my workers. Like, he had Band-Aids all over him from the cat. Like, not mean. He likes to play. He's a kitten. He swats at the guinea pigs. He lays on their cage and tortures them. Even though he cannot see, he's a very happy, well-adjusted blind cat. Like, and I put, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I put a short on Instagram with Dalton running through the kitchen and you see the blind cat jumping in the air after Dalton and then whacking Dalton's legs. Like, this cat gets around perfect. And the vet was hesitant about the surgery because she did it before on a dog and said he had trouble adjusting. But she said since he's so young and he's adapted so well already, she thinks he'll adapt just fine because he can't see anyways. So if you guys don't know what's happening is his eyes, one of them's not even there and they keep getting infected. And soon as we stop his antibiotic treatment, they get infected again. So what they're going to do is clean it out and sew his eyes shut. So we'll stop the infections because otherwise the infections just keep coming back. So Rocks to Be Me sent $4.99. That's what's going on. And the cat was dropped in my yard. That's how I came upon him. Somebody put him in my yard. Mary sent $5. Thrifting, it's my hobby. Sue sent $5. Honey Money. We call him Honey Bunny. Honey Bunny Money. Jovial Juggler. What kind? I'm giving you a new name. Jovial Juggler sent $5. So here is the whale for all of you. Thank you guys. All right. Let's see. Okay, this is kind of shipping, but it's not shipping. Where do you get your boxes and what are the most common sizes you use?
What do you mean it's not shipping?
I still to this day get all of my boxes from dumpsters and from dumpsters from Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and Kroger. And then I have there's a small grocery store in my area that they know who I am, and they just set all of their boxes on the side of their grocery store for me to come pick up almost every other day. The most common one I use is usually a 10 by 8 by 6.
Yeah, I get them from friends, family, neighbors. Have for the last 5 years, and it's worked out really, really well. It's matched exactly what I needed to ship. And sometimes I have a little bit extra. That way I got something to choose from, a bigger box, a smaller box, extra padding, can fit into the bigger ones if I need to. Whole variety of different box sizes. But when I need a specific one and a bunch of it, maybe I got a collection of something from a yard sale, then I would go and I'd order it off of eBay. And you use the shipping allowance, the shipping coupons they give you every quarter. And I would get 9 by 7 by 5 size boxes, and those are fantastic for things like limited edition video games that are bigger, chunkier boxes, yeah, they're fantastic. So all free shipping and the shipping coupons. I can't think of the last time I paid for boxes.
I wish I could say that.
I wish I could say that too. I'm pulling up my, let's see here. So, all right. So I do order a lot of free boxes from the Postal Service. And those boxes are the Priority Mail, the 1092 and Priority Mail 1095. Those are the long ones that if you put two of those together, you can put like a board game in those. But I do ship out like comic books, graded comic books. So I use those a lot. And then I also use the Priority Mailbox number 4, which is like the smaller one. And then I also use the Priority Mailbox number 7. That's the 12 by 12 by 12. So I use those a lot, especially because when I sell a lot on Whatnot automatically ships anything under 5 pounds through anything over a pound, but under 5 pounds by Priority Mail. So I use those boxes a lot. I also use the 4 by 6 by 8. I ship those a lot. And then I go to Walmart. Those I get from Supply Hut, for but yeah, because last time I ordered boxes. Be careful. If you guys order anything from Supply Hut, I will warn you, they're pretty cheap, but make sure you count your order because the last times I've ordered, I've been shorted boxes.
I missed the joke on that.
I called it Scam Hut instead of Supply Hut. So, but and then what else would I get? Oh, I use Walmart every once in a while. They have their boxes are actually kind of reasonable depending on what I do, but they have I think it's 11 by 15 by 7, I think. I know I've been using those boxes a lot to ship out the well, Cat knows when we have to ship out those designer boxes, I need like a bigger box. So I pick every once in a while, I'll pick some up from Walmart. And they also have like I think it's a 6 by 8 by 12 or 6 by 8 by 11. It's a little bit bigger where you can fit like a bobblehead or you can fit like small action figures in it. So I ship those. So I get my boxes from a lot of different places. I wish I can get free boxes, but I've been shipping out so many items per month that I have to buy boxes now. And I also use my free coupon every quarter from eBay to get boxes through eBay. Oh yeah, and poly mailers and poly bags. I order my bags off Amazon and Gyro Pack.
Real quick, I miss regional box A and B too. Those are gone now. I'm sad.
Oh, I still have some, and you can use them as regular priority because I had some like in stock, and I didn't use them that often.
At least there's still the shoebox box.
Yeah, I have the shoebox back there. I think like when you're shipping quantity, and for me it comes down to like it would be space, because if I get boxes from other people, they're not going to be broke down, and we ship out like 50 after a weekend and 20 a day a lot of days. So that's a lot of space for like if we break them down, we're not going to use them. That's typically how it goes. So we do 8 by 6 by 4, 8 by 8 by 8, like hats and stuff go in those 8 by 6 by 4s. Little ornaments go in those. We have 4 by 4 boxes for like, if I sell like my $500 necklace I just sold, I'm not going to ship that in a poly mailer. It's going in a box. So that one, I keep all my Amazon boxes and I buy plenty off Amazon. So we do recycle. I'm not like anti boxes. And we keep all the big boxes from Amazon. So we have those. I use my shipping coupon a lot. We don't have to buy a ton of boxes. It's not a big expense, but it's, well, probably $150 a month, I would say. And we're shipping out like 300-ish packages a month overall. So, and I get mine from, I like eBay's boxes. eBay's box quality is really good. So even if I don't have my shipping coupon, I still buy their boxes. They're close to what I would pay anyways. Our poly mailers we get from GRO Pack, but I do use priority boxes as much as possible. So Whatnot, I'm using priority boxes. Poshmark, we're using priority boxes because they're free. And expensive stuff goes priority. We use the free boxes. Use free boxes. eBay tape sucks. That is whole nother debate. I quit using it. Oh, it's almost time. Joel, finally, I love you, Joel. Joel gave me a bunch of codes for free tape so I can give tape away again. From American Bubble Boy. I talked to him on the phone yesterday. I was joking with him because it was Earth Day, and he had really good deals on bubble wrap. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was like $25 for 700 feet. It was absolutely ridiculous for the recycled, but it counted down every hour and there were only so many coupons. And I'm like, Joel, do you think I'm really going to remember to get on there at 12 o'clock on the dot before they're all gone? And so I get on there like 7 minutes later and it's like, wait till the next hour. And he called me. I'm like, I told you I was not going to get that coupon code. And I'm like, I'm not sitting here all day, every hour. I wish I had the time, but I did not. So hopefully some of you he had amazing deals on recycled stuff yesterday for Earth Day. But we're at 9 o'clock. We will give away some of his tape. He sent me all of the codes. I got to find where he sent them again. All right. Teresa wants to know, does eBay make money on shipping? It's shipping. It's all about shipping. This is a shipping show.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're big enough, are you guys hearing an echo?
We did there for a second. I think you're good.
No, yeah. When you're a company that's big enough and you can go to USPS and say, hey, would you like us to give you guys hundreds of millions of dollars of packages every single week? What are you going to do to keep me? USPS is going to do what they need to do to keep them. So yeah, you know, eBay has deals and stuff set in place, as does Mercari, as does other.
Yeah,
Poshmark makes, I'd say probably 20% of their revenue is from shipping.
Yeah, what doesn't eBay make money on? Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the sellers are taking all the money for shipping, not the but eBay is making money off us by charging us a fee on shipping.
Yeah.
So where, like, I'll tell you who's the biggest culprit. To this day, I still think Whatnot makes the most money on shipping, because Whatnot collects all the money.
I bet they're making a killing on shipping.
eBay is the only company that I think have all the main ones that they let the seller collect the money, and the seller buys his own shipping labels. Where like Mercari,
but
actually,
I bet we buy it from eBay. I bet though what we buy from eBay, they're making money on that. Like they're getting it for cheaper than we're paying, so they're making it double in fees and
that's good business.
Whatnot's the worst though, because there's so many items that I wish I can have a different shipping rate. That's why I like District and how District does theirs, because you can actually refund a buy or combine shipping packages and do other things. Where Whatnot, I don't know. Whatnot shipping is a little suspect, if you ask me.
They're a tech company. They're on
so it makes sense.
So where pigs fly farm, I live in the middle of the country, or the middle, like country-ish. Rural. I'm rural, and it would be 30 minutes like to drive to the store and back. I have negative time already, and I only go out sourcing once a week, and the time that it would take me is not worth what I pay for the boxes that I pay for. If I was in town where I had somewhere 5 minutes up the road, I could go and get them. But I've looked at the boxes here in the few places that are, and there are not great boxes. Like, we don't have that many stores here. So unfortunately, like, if you're rural and don't have time, and like my neighbors are all like, I have 11 acres. I don't have like, oh, let me run to the neighbor next. I mean, I could, because I could exercise, but it's not like being in a neighborhood where I could be like, oh yeah, bring all your boxes here. They're not going to. So, all right. Russell says, I'm going to upgrade my store subscription from basic to starter. Should I wait until after the first of the month, or does eBay prorate?
I don't know.
Grow now. Grow right now. Don't wait. You're going to sell one item. You're going to pay for the difference in that store price. Then you're going to sell another 5 items, then another 10 items, and wonder why you didn't do it sooner. If you're ready to upgrade, upgrade. It's
one of those things where if you're going to get charged higher fees because you have the other store, you pay for additional listings over what your capacity in your eBay store is. So if it makes sense to do it now, do it now. So it's really just it goes through a 30-day cycle, but I would just update it, because then you also get the shipping discount for shipping supplies as well.
Yeah, and Marsha's saying they prorate, and I don't think it's on the first. I think it's like whatever day of the month that you start. Karen's saying, and Rod and Will both covered it. The main reason to upgrade is you're over the limit. So if you're over the 250 limit or you're over, what's the next one up? Does it go 250 to 1,000?
And then it goes to 10,000.
That's what I thought. That's the $59.99 we have, right?
Yeah. So just a basic way just to think about it is, let's just say once you get your free listings, they may charge you like 25 cents for each additional listing. But then if you upgrade your store, you may only pay 10 cents per listing. So, it's better just to upgrade your store, and then you have all those additional listings to be able to do, and then you're saving that monthly fee, because remember, every time it renews, that still counts towards your listing. So even though those items are already listed 2 or 3 months ago, every time it renews, those count for your monthly listings.
You get a discount on final value fees at a certain point too, and I forget which tier that is.
Yeah.
All right. Star Painter says, if you have a completely unique item that has no sell history, would you run an auction? I have a Millefiori lamp that is a hot air balloon.
Everyone loves my answer. I would not buy that item, and I would not sell it on eBay. Now, if I did, then I would look at similar items. For example, if I went to a minor league baseball game and I had one of the players sign a baseball for me, and that baseball by that player that signed has never been sold on eBay, I would look up minor league signed baseballs, and I would see, some of these are going for $20. Some of them are going for $150. Oh, looks like the one that went for $150 actually made it to the MLB. This guy is still just in the minor leagues. Looks like some are selling for $30, $35, $40. All right, I'm going to put mine up for $35. I'm going to put offers on, and that's how I would list your Millefiori lamp. That is a hot air balloon.
My business model doesn't allow for things with no sales history anymore. I did for the last couple of years. And I would list anything that came into my hands. And that's because I had lots of space and I had no inventory. And so if I just found something shiny, boom, I was listing it. And I ended up with a garage full of stuff that I spent hours listing and never sold. Now, there have been exceptions, and some of these things were really good exceptions for me. I got a free snow globe one time. It was a Wizard of Oz snow globe. The thing was gorgeous. I got it by the side of the road in a freebie box after the sale wrapped. I was too late. I didn't show up for the sale on time. My own fault. Anyways, I got this thing for free. And long story short, I listed for $400 and sold for $250 in a couple of months. Couldn't believe it. No sales history, nothing similar. Total exception to the rule, and I don't like to play by the exceptions anymore. I'm all about sales history. I'm all through sell-through, and I really don't want to touch something that's a gamble. I want a calculated risk, not a gamble.
So it's with the addition to the resources that we have out there through Tier Peak now going from 2 to 3 years, with Worth Point going back 10 years, it's almost very rare that you find an item that has no sale history whatsoever on there. So if you do come across those, one is I would look up similar items that are very similar to kind of what that is. Also, two is I'm a firm believer I don't list that for auction, because there might be one person that is willing to buy that item for $5,000, where they may one other person may only be willing to pay $50 for it. So I'm a firm believer that anytime I get some unique one-off items, I list high with a best offer on it. I let the market dictate the price. And then what I'll do is over a month or two, I'll start just lowering the price if I have to, and move it just based on the amount of watchers I get, the base of views I get. But kind of like these guys as well, I try to stay away from a lot of one-off items unless it looks very unique or something that stands out. I'll take risks or chances on those. They have paid off for me in the past, but it has to be a calculated risk with those. I'm not just going to go buy tons of one-off items that that are just buying it just because I can't find anything on it. It has to be something unique and special.
And I think that lamp probably is, but I don't know. I might. So I'll tell you, I researched a little bit. I will tell you there are 2 lamps that are very similar to hot air balloon lamps on Worth Point in the last 10 years. I found them. They are there. And there are also quite a few Millefiori lamps on eBay. Some of them have sold for thousands and thousands of dollars. So that is something I would pick up. I would pick that up. I know Millefiori glass does very well. I would ask what you paid for it. And I just ran an auction on a Holt Howard honey pot Sell-through rate's about 250, 300%. I ran it on an auction, but I started at 600 because I will not take less than 600. I got no bids. I had 23 watchers. So now I have it listed for 700, buy it now. And I'll let it sit. I'm fine with it sitting because the only other 2 listed have been broken, repaired, and mine has not. So I have the only one not repaired on eBay right now. So, okay, she said she paid 25. So me, if I paid that, honestly, I would probably start it at 250. I'll tell you, one on WorthPoint sold for 200, one sold for 500, same lamp. I would start it at 250 and do a 10-day auction and start it on a Thursday night to end on a Sunday. And if you don't get the 250, I would almost price it at 500, buy it now if it ends with no bids. There's no harm in trying it, but start it at what, like turning 25 into 250 would be a great profit, right? Yeah. And there are some that have sold for thousands. Like there's some as high as $12,000 listed on eBay right now. I'm looking. That is what I would do.
Kat, you said something very important there. Why don't you explain to the audience why you pick Thursday to start your auction for a 10-day auction?
Because you get 2 weekends for the price of one. You get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday twice. So Thursday night, if you're running auctions, is the best time, in my opinion. Now, if I'm in a rush, like I didn't do it with mine, I was bad. I started mine on a Friday and ended it on a Friday. Maybe I should try it again on a 10-day. But yeah, so that way you get 2 weekends full of coverage, gives a little more time for people to be looking. But Murano Millefiori is popular enough that it might, and then you could be surprised and get like $3,000 for it, you know, or you could get 250 and still be happy. You only paid 25, you know.
You've already got it in hand. It's already there. If you have it, may as well, huh?
Yeah,
that's
that
the
is
power
what
of
I
the
would
panel.
do.
4 different answers.
Yeah.
And now you got a lot of information to go with.
Yeah.
It also comes down to your business model and how much space you have. You know, Kat has a big advantage over a lot of resellers out there because Kat has an exponential amount of space where she's at. She has multiple houses and multiple places there where, you know, if Will's just working out of his garage, he may be very limited to the amount of space he has. So he needs more fast selling items. Jake's working out of his house right there. He needs, you know, he needs fast selling items that are going to quickly turn. So
we might be changing that up here. And I'll probably do a video on it. So if you're watching, you get like a little sneak peek. We are seriously considering, and one of you asked me this last week, doing high bid, and I will probably start doing it with items that I've had in my store for a long time, and I will lock them up to empty out. I didn't say this part though, to empty out one of the sheds. And I want to start buying storage units. And then we will use that one empty shed for the storage unit, and we'll run a high bid auction. I will tell you the high dollar, high sell-through rate I will pull, and it will go on eBay. And then we'll run high bid auctions and we'll ship. So I contacted a couple of my favorite, Troy, I contacted Mountain Man Treasure, and one of my other favorite auctions that I buy from regularly, and asked them a lot of questions. And I think we could do, yeah, you went black for a minute though, but now I see you.
You're good, Jake.
You're good now.
I don't think he can hear us.
Maybe he can't see himself.
I can't hear you guys though.
Hear you.
We can hear you.
I can't hear you guys though.
No, that's what...
I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay. Let us know in the chat. Should we let him come back in or just make him wait? Let's see.
Just make him wait. So we might start that as like an additional thing because yes, storage units. I love treasure hunting. If you know me, you know that. And storage auctions is definitely one of those things. So we might add that. I would do videos of that on my Cat's Treasure Hunting, and we would run high bids and we would ship everything. So everything would be available, even like I'll be willing to set up freight for furniture and stuff. I am always reinventing my business model. That I get bored very easy. All right, Mark is late and he sent $80K and he doesn't know that all his money's going to Honey, but it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get everybody else. Wolfman's Goodies sent $10 for that. Pre-level is perfect for the Hell Kitty. $2 for the Bad Blind Cat. S Grace at 279. Online newbie site to use. What are you doing with him? Did you decide? Do we like him? What did the chat say? Are we letting him back?
I guess we'll let him back. I guess.
What was you guys say?
Oh, we both switched him at the same time. Okay. So let's answer this, and then I'll do a. Hold on, I'm going to come back to this. Lisa sent for Poor Honey Kitty. Shirley sent a $5 super sticker, and Mark. So I'm going to assume S Gray means multiple selling platforms. If you're in the chat, please make sure that is correct. Hi, Julian. Yeah. So let's assume that. So Jake, what site would you say to learn how to use multiple selling platforms?
So I'll make a recommendation, and then I'll say a site. So I actually recommend selling at least a couple hundred items on only one platform. So that way you can really understand what items actually move, what they move for, how to do shipping, how to handle returns, really master one site. Then once you have that foundation, you have that foothold, then you can go on to a second site and a third site. So I sold on eBay for, I think, 19 months, and I sold 8,500 items before I even cross-listed to my second platform. Then once I had sold that many items, I had a good grasp on what eBay was. And then I started to cross-list to Poshmark, and now I cross-list clothing items to Poshmark, and I cross-list everything from eBay to Mercari, and I use the software Flip. It's FLYP. I actually have a video on it on my channel if you just type in JRide flips Flip, or if you look up 3x your reseller income with Flip, that'll come up. And yeah, I definitely recommend getting a foothold on one platform. And then I actually do recommend cross-listing once you understand e-commerce.
Similar. I'm all about eBay. That's always been my number one. Amazon was kind of a number two after that. I did add that in after a time. Mercari, I dabbled in, but I got no traction whatsoever. Poshmark, I made an account, never listed anything there. But I'm a big fan, similar to Jake, of just getting real good at one platform and using a second one kind of to, cross list to as you have time. But most people I talk to don't have a problem with, say, running out of inventory and needing to move it, and so they have to put it somewhere else to sell it. It's that they have too much stuff to list. There's too many things to list. So it's less about where it's listed and just how quickly they're able to list it. I would say manage your workflow so that you're able to list everything that you got on one platform. And then something like Flip or Vendu or any of these other cross-posting things, they're going to let you share that off to the other platforms once you're good at your process, getting inventory and getting it listed promptly. They're all similar platforms for the most part. Whatnot is kind of its own animal, but the rest are pretty similar. You list it, you wait for a buyer to buy it. When I branched out to OfferUp and Mercari and even Facebook Marketplace, I realized I did not like being in so many different places at once. And so especially for a newbie who I'm imagining is probably part-time, stick to one for now. Stick to one for now.
Both great advice there. I mean, I think mastering your the first site is going to be the most important. The reason why I always say start with eBay, because eBay has a buyer for everything. Not all the other sites do. So you can literally walk around your house, find kitchenware, you can find clothing, you can find toys, and they all have a marketplace on eBay. That's not the case with all the other selling platforms out there. Once you master eBay, though, you can pretty much master the other sites. I always say, like, if I was going in a line, say Mercari's like middle school level, eBay's high school level, Amazon's college level. There is a big learning curve with those different platforms. Mercari is one of the easiest platforms to list on. It's very simplistic, but not everything sells in Mercari. So you also have to know those markets. So I would master eBay first, get a bunch of sales under your belt, just like Jake and Will were saying there. Be able to manage, learn how to ship and do all the other things, and branch out. Start with one platform, see how you like it, and then branch out to the other platforms. I personally have sell on Mercari, Poshmark, Whatnot as live auction selling, and also the Whatnot selling the marketplace. I sell on District, on Dibbit. I also sell on Facebook Marketplace. I've sold on OfferUp. I've sold a lot. Just like Will said, I don't like selling on all those platforms. I honestly hate Facebook Marketplace because it's just more of a headache for me than anything else. But it is good to move big things or stuff in bulk. So You just got to find out what works best for your business. I would definitely try those other sites, but do your research first, because knowing what sells in those platforms, I don't want you to start cross-listing everything in your store over to, say, Poshmark, and realize, there's not a big market here for toys or video games. Even though those things do sell in there, you may be wasting more time cross-listing all your items over there than actually getting the return that you would get from those items.
And double selling by mistake too.
Yeah. Well, that was my next thing, too. So
sorry,
no, that's a great point, because when it comes to cross-listing those things, depending if you're doing it by hand or if you're using a program, now some of these programs do have D-lists. They're like Vendu does. Vendu is a great platform. List Perfectly is a great platform. Flip's a great platform. I've used all three in the past. So you have to find what works best for your business model, and then go from there.
So she's asking, is Etsy good to start with? My answer to that would be no. We actually quit selling on Etsy because we found it was not worth it. And I think eBay is the biggest used market. I would recommend starting with eBay as well. And Etsy takes longer I feel like Etsy's harder to list on than eBay. Personally, they want a lot more information. You need to put in tags. You need to fill out a lot more. So LaDonna loves Etsy. And LaDonna has a YouTube channel as well, guys, by Ubel, and she does very well on Etsy. So the thing is it depends on what you have. Like, she does well on there. I did not find the amount of sales worth the amount of time spent listing. So we backed out of Etsy, and I was kind of the same. Like, I'll tell you, I'm never going down to one platform. If you get whacked off of eBay for a ridiculous reason, which can happen and has happened to me twice, I pay my bills with eBay. I would need, how long it would take us to, oh crap, I got to put 7,000 listings over to Mercari and Poshmark. No, we have them up there. They're there. I would spend more time. I don't send offers on Mercari to watchers or anything. I would start doing things like that and spending more time if I was kicked off of eBay. But unless, LaDonna does a bunch of vintage glass. Etsy is not just for homemade items. It's vintage and homemade, but I feel like Etsy's flooded. I feel like Etsy's almost more flooded than eBay, honestly. So yeah, silver and gold. LaDonna, tell her if you have sold silver and gold over on Etsy. I will tell you, all my jewelry was on Etsy, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and I sold the most on eBay. So that was my biggest place. We just sold a $540 bracelet on eBay last week. We sell high dollar jewelry all the time. On Mark sent another $5, and I'm not going to forget to give you all. Look, Mark is going to get away without getting Rod, because this is a group super chat. And thank you guys for sending it. Again, all the super chats tonight are going to Sir Bad Blind Honey for his surgery next week. Here you go.
Kat, I don't know if you saw this one here, but
oh, nice. Yeah. And so Unique Vintage I know a lot of people listen to this only and don't watch us. Says, thanks for the discount code for List Perfectly. I didn't use it the first month, but the following month I made $200 on my first sale by cross listing. So that's what I always say. I've been using List Perfectly for 3 years. They have a lot of community, what do I want to say, benefits to using it, as well as just cross posting. So they have live listing parties pretty much 24 hours a day. So if you're bored and you're the only reseller, you can go into their live listing parties. They have mastermind groups that will teach you about different topics. They do those meetings Monday through Friday. I know, because my good friend Trish does them. I try and call her. She's like, I'm in a meeting. I'm like, you should, this is funny, because I told her this, she was doing it, and she works for List Perfectly. And I said, Trish, you know what? You should become a full-time reseller. Then you could talk to me and not be in a meeting. So they have a lot of other benefits too. But typically with a cross-posting service, you're going to know within a month if it's worth it for you. It's not like it has to sit for 6 months and you pay for it. It's either going to pay for itself or it's not. You're going to know pretty fast. And Mercari, if that's one of the sites you're cross-posting to, in my experience, on Mercari, it either sells fast or it doesn't sell. Like it sells within the first week or two or it disappears. So yeah. All right. Maybe Gino will help you. Lynn said Marcia's in the villages too. Marcia and Gino are both in the villages. You don't have to have a garage to do a garage sale.
Do a sidewalk sale.
Yard sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my town, we don't even call them garage sales. We just call them yard sales.
Or if you have good stuff, tell me and I'll drive and I'll just buy it all. All right. Question for Will. Will, do you sell everything or are you like Jake and selling a lot of electronics? So what do you sell, Will?
I'm a recovering everything seller. That's what I am. This year, I decided to cut my store down dramatically. And so for the last couple of months, the last year, I was selling hard. I went down from like 1,400 or 1,200 listings all the way down to like 180, something like that. I dumped a lot of inventory cheap and took a bunch to the thrift store and decided to kind of restart, get a fresh start, niche down, ship more of the same size items because I could standardize that process, make it faster. I could keep fewer supplies on hand and I could really get into niche knowledge. So I'm working on video games right now, especially brand new video games off the shelf from stores. If I find something on clearance, pick it up and I can sell it for a profit. Also, go ahead.
Sorry, I just got 28 sealed video games today from Walmart for $4.28 each.
Well done. I did a bunch of that too. I got stacks and stacks. This one's kind of a junker, but yeah, stacks of them from Walmart. Walmart has some great deals. If you guys are looking for retail arbitrage opportunities, video game aisle in Walmart right now, make some money. Additionally, I have a bunch of liquidation clothing from a store in the mall that went out of business. And so I just walked into the store and I said, so who do I talk to about buying everything? And the person behind the counter goes, what do you mean? I said, all of it. Oh, well, we'll have them call you. Believe it or not, 2 weeks later, I got a call from the liquidator. They said, hey, we're ready to make a deal. Let's do it. And so I walked in, I bought everything that they had left over. Come to find out, I overpaid just a little bit on it. Go figure. I thought 92% off was a pretty good deal, but turns out you can do better if you try. So I paid 8 cents on the dollar for this clothing, and I just cleared them out, and I'm still selling that. We're now, I guess, 2 years later. I have just a little left, but I'd do that again in a heartbeat.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's what I'm up to now. Kind of reforming the store into very small niches and the same size items, and I really want to do only new stuff. I'm kind of done picking up yard sale onesie twosies. I want to list once and sell 50 times.
Are you thinking about Amazon?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Working my way into some groups, hanging out with some really cool people that know that stuff like the back of their hand. And you've probably heard it over and over before. Your network is your net worth. Yes, absolutely. I'm networking constantly into the Amazon space.
Awesome.
All right. Sorry. I'm like, who else is answering? I'm like, oh no, it's just for Will. LTAC is asking, can you charge a handling fee?
Yes. It's just in your you can the easiest way on these technical questions is you can just Google have in one tab open your eBay store, and then in another tab Google how to do this on eBay, and then it'll open it up and it will cross-reference to your open tab and it will just open it for you. So just have your store open and then type in how to charge handling fee eBay, and then there will be a link and you can just do a bulk edit and you can add $2, $8, whatever you want to do.
I think that wraps that one up.
Yeah. eBay's website is very difficult to navigate sometimes. So anytime I need to get an answer, I literally Google how do I do this on eBay, and it'll give you the direct link. If you don't cross-reference, you can add the direct link. It takes you right to your eBay store, and it's so much easier that way.
Yeah,
I always have my phone right next to me. Hey Siri, how do I do it? Done.
Yeah.
Dang it, Will.
Everyone's phone just went off now in the chat. Thanks, Will.
My Mac just did.
Hey Siri, play Never Gonna Give You Up.
Brad's been trying to set alarms on people's phones randomly, but it's funny. He tried to do it to Brooke, to my daughter, and her phone, Siri only listens to her voice, so like it didn't work. So he thought he was all smooth, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" So like, because the phone doesn't listen to anybody but her. LTAC's asking, how is everyone's garage sale find?
Garage sales have been really great for me. If you guys want to see my little desk pile that will be taken care of tomorrow. All of this stuff except for that was from yard sales this weekend. Garage sales, sorry, most people call them garage sales. I learned that from my YouTube analytics. I've grown up my whole life saying yard sale. But yeah, garage sales have been really good. My town is very warm, but every single weekend for the last 5 weeks, the cold front comes in Friday night. So I've gone to Vegas 3 out of the last 5 weekends. And yeah, Vegas is really good.
How far are you from Vegas?
I'm just under 2 hours.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Do you run an art or resale when you're out there?
Oh yeah, I hang out with Carrie and Art and Archie.
Well, let's be honest, Carrie's not up for the yard sales, but so you're hanging out with Carrie later on in the day. But
no, yeah, I mean, I've never seen Carrie before 12:30. I think that was the earliest I ever saw him.
The late riser, huh?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. No, I love yard selling around here. California, Sacramento area, it's warm most of the year. And so we get a long yard sale season, which has been fantastic. Since I was picking up so much of my inventory from yard sales at rock bottom prices and making great money on it, and I could pick up inventory most of the year, it was fantastic. This last weekend, I did pick up some personal grabs. I got some Legos. My kids adore Legos. And so I got bins and bins of Legos, $100 for, oh my goodness, more Legos than we can possibly do in a year. There was Mario Legos, there's Minecraft Legos, there was like Avengers and stuff in there, tons of stuff for them to play with. A lot of wrestling figures as well, too. Some WWE Elite stuff, which I had zero knowledge on any of this stuff. Turns out it's pretty valuable. So we did good on wrestling figures and a stack of video games to put in the collection. So it was a great weekend for picking stuff up. Community sale was the magic word. Neighborhood garage sale or community sale. There was a big one in a nice area of town, and we cleaned up. It was great.
So if you only know someone that was a pro wrestler, just keep that out there, right? So if you ever need help with wrestling stuff, all right, I can point you in the right direction. But
now we're talking.
So I will say, living in Florida, so if you guys have watched my picking and punching channel, that's all I do is I put garage sales out there. And living in Florida, I always get the comments on my videos. You can't make a full-time living, go to garage sales. There's Undertaker. Living in Florida, absolutely. I can garage sale pretty much 11 out of 12 months out of the year. Community season right now is in peak, so I am literally just going out for an hour. I can come back with hundreds of dollars with the stuff like every single weekend, guaranteed, because there's so many yard sales right now that I can't even go to. I can't even go to like 75% of them right now. Last weekend there was 15 community yard sales within like a 20-minute drive of my house. It's epic right now because it gets so hot in the summer in Florida. Our yard sales are, I call it yard sales too, Jake. Our yard sales are very limited in the summertime. They're going to be few and far between, but right now peak time is spring and the fall time for us. So everyone, and the good thing about community sales in Florida is a lot of communities do it twice a year. They actually do one in spring cleaning and then they do one in the fall. So yeah, right now they're completely, it's epic right now for me. I probably found the coolest item I've ever found at a garage sale was last weekend. I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to put up the video I might put it out on Friday now. I'll put it out maybe later on this week, but it's literally the coolest item I've ever found at a garage sale. So,
okay, drop a hint, just a quick hint.
It's something that you like to sell.
Ah.
So, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. So it's something I never thought I'd find, and I came across, and I'm keeping it for myself. I'm not even going to resell it. But what about you, Kat? How are your garage sales going out there in No Man's Land?
I don't go to very many. I occasionally will, but I really don't go to many. And one of the reasons is, like, I only have the weekends with Dalton. Saturday, he has swim practice every Saturday at 10 o'clock. So smack dab in the middle of, like, when you would go to yard sales. And I would rather spend time with him on the weekends than go out to the yard sales. And he gets annoyed after like a very long time. We were stopping at yard sales if we saw them on the way to swim practice and back, and he tolerated it, I guess you could say. He wasn't too thrilled about it. So, and I've been doing a lot of thrifting. So I prefer thrifting and estate sales right now, just because my weekends are the only time with Dalton, and I would prefer to do stuff with him versus going to a yard sale. Now, if I see estate sales on Fridays when he's still in school and yard sales, I will go on Fridays. But I want to, there's like where I'm at, there are none close. I have to drive an hour and a half to find them. And so unless I see, like there's one here, it's every weekend. The guy buys stuff just like I do, and it's in his yard every weekend. Like you might find some more new stuff, you might not. But his signs are up every weekend. That's not the kind of yard sale I want, you know? So yeah, so I'm not a giant yard sale. All right, everybody reminded me, and because I forgot, and you guys do have to do that because I do forget, because that's just what I do. We are doing a giveaway. Hashtag American Bubble Boy. Which button do we push, Rod? I forgot. This one?
It's the
We haven't done a giveaway in so long, we forgot which button to push. Hold, please. We'll figure this out.
yeah.
Is it gone?
No, hold on.
It's this one. I found it.
Yeah, you need to get rid of this. There we go.
Yeah, and then we'll put another question up.
So while we're doing this, let me know in the chat too if where you're located and how garage sales are. When do they actually start? Because I'm just curious as we do this. I guess we'll have to wait to do it.
Yeah, let us know. Diana's saying she got charged for insufficient postage by Mercari. I appealed and was denied by Mercari. What now? They are wrong.
So the only person that you can talk to in this situation is Mercari, unless of course you wanted to get a lawyer involved, but I'm assuming this is over a package that was probably valued less than $40. So because Mercari is the only person that you can talk to and Mercari has made this final decision, it's done.
A lot of people just vent on Twitter about it too. That could work.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, I mean what they said.
Yeah, they're whoops. I didn't even know that. I hit the space bar and it takes the question off. Yeah, I don't think there is anybody else. If it sucks. Hopefully it wasn't a ton, but yeah. I hope it wasn't a lot. Do you have to pay if you revise a listing?
No.
No, yeah. If
No,
it's
that's
yeah, like revising it isn't like launching it again. It's just making simple changes.
if you end it and you sell similar, yeah, that's going to use up another of your listing. And if you're paying per listing, yes, you will be paying for that.
Yeah.
What they said, pretty much.
Escray's asking, are the giveaways just for the US? I don't know if Joel ships international. Does anybody know? Because what it is it's a coupon code for 6 free rolls of tape. I don't know if Joel ships to internationally. I honestly do not know. That was a good question. Does anybody in here from not in the US buy from American Bubble Boy?
I think that might be a question better for you to ask Joel now. I guess we'll have to reach out
Joel's
to Joel.
not here.
No,
Joel's
I mean,
probably-
like we'll have to reach out to Joel and give you an update next week and let you guys know.
Hold on, I bet I can research.
I bet you, I mean, I don't know if he does send free rolls international, but I know he'll probably ship international, I'm assuming.
It says within the United States.
Okay.
So you could win, but you couldn't use it. You would have to give to a friend in the US. Like, I'm not going to stop you from entering, but I don't think you could use it. But I think I'm going to give away a free month of List Perfectly too. Ha ha ha. Because I think I have that power. I think. And at least when I ask them, they say I do. So we'll assume that I still have the power. Susan wants to know how many of you had to take a loss on something just to get it to sell.
I'm sure it's happened from time to time, but what I do is when I first started eBay, I got my store up to 600 items. And then I learned a lot along that way. And I'm like, oh, sweet. 180 of these items actually don't sell. So I donated 180 items. Then I grew my store up to 1,000, and I did the same thing, and I came all the way back down to about like 850. Then I grew it to like 1,800, did the same thing, came back down to about 1,600. And then since then, I've never like decluttered like that, and I don't think I've ever sold anything at a loss.
Yeah, I have a hard time selling things at a loss. It's more emotional that way. I would rather give it away than sell it at a loss. Now, I've heard other people say that it helps your metrics and it brings more people to your store when you're selling things. There's probably an argument for that. It's not how I do it though. If it's not selling, I want it out of my space, get it off my mind, give it to the thrift, give it to a family member, whatever it is, to get it out of here. But yeah, selling below cost is just not one of the ways I do that.
But giving it away is the same thing as selling below cost. You're still taking a loss on the item because you still have money invested in it at the end of the day.
No argument here, but usually that's something.
It's mental. It's mental.
Yeah, but it's the mental process. So for me, I think it's a reselling rite of passage. I think you're not a true reseller until you actually take a loss on an item or make a bad buy. We all do it at some point in time, unfortunately. My thought process is a lot like probably Kat's on this one, where if I put the hard work in already taking photos and listing on eBay, I would rather just take a loss on it over time than, just to get some of my money back, just to move the item. But I also have the same philosophy as you will, where I will get rid of items just to clear up space. And because the peace of mind is worth more than the actual money for the actual item. So
storage space is big for me. If I can dump, 3 bins worth of stuff in one run, that's big.
Yeah.
It kind of like we have over 5,000 square foot, of storage. So we have plenty of room, but I definitely have taken a loss, and it luckily has not been a lot. I bet 99% of resellers at some point have taken a loss on something, because you can't be perfect. I will say, one of the times was me miscomping. I comped, and it was a category I didn't know. It was like toys, and I comped an 18-inch statue, and I had an 8-inch one. And that was a very, very different price, and I paid too much. I didn't do the research. I let my daughter. So that's why I do all my own research now. And that it's been my mistake comping, and it might be something similar where I paid too much. I've looked on WorthPoint, not on eBay for current comps. I think it's important to point that out. You really should look at both, because WorthPoint comps were great, but the current ones on eBay were a lot lower. So I basically paid eBay price for a Lalique figurine, and then it had a chip on top of it. So I double whammied myself. I personally need to have counseling to learn to let stuff go that doesn't sell, because that's what I'm hoping to do with high bid, honestly, is lot that stuff up and sell it and try and put same size shirts. So if somebody wants them to wear them, then they can buy them for that, not necessarily reselling. But I don't have time to go back and change listings and things like that. So I'm hoping we can put it on high bid. And I'll try it once, maybe twice. If it doesn't go good, then the idea will go out the window. But I'll have an empty shed, and I can buy storage units still, whether I do high bid or not. So,
Kat, I think you made a good point there. I want to add something there where we miss comp items, especially if you guys are anyone here who's new, who's listening to this. When you scan a UPC code on eBay and you look at these, how many items are listed compared to how many items are sold, you may get, real high comps, but there's a lot of people that actually list the item without scanning the UPC code or actually doing that. So you might see 20 items listed, but if you actually type in the name of the item, there might be 100 items listed. So if it is a real expensive item, sometimes it's worth taking the extra 30 seconds to actually type the name in just to double check it before just scanning the UPC code, because I know a lot of new sellers that got burned on that a lot.
Yeah, and when I was scanning stuff too.
You guys seen the difference between TerraPeak and the sold comps before? You ever noticed there's quite a discrepancy at times between the two? My phone will be telling me tons and tons of sold, and I go on TerraPeak and there's 4 that sold. kind of caught me by surprise, and I wondered why my items weren't selling. That's why.
I've noticed lately, and I don't know if anybody else has, eBay search has been jacked up. And I've been trying to do comps, and it's like, I'll pull it up and it'll be like 5,000, but only like 50 or that. And I'm putting like item number that most people are using, and it's pulling up like hundreds of extras. So I can't get a true sell-through rate on a lot of things here. It's just been the last couple weeks. So I don't know if they're tweaking something. Have you noticed that, Jake?
Yeah, so you guys know me. I sell a lot of remotes and specific electronics. So I used to be able to type in Sony RMT-V504A, and it would only show me those remotes. And it would be like, oh, 300 listed, 400 sold. Now I type in that exact model number, and it'll show me 16,000 Sony remotes. And
yes.
Yeah, that's it's impossible.
So what are you doing for that? Since you're like, I'm not as big as on sell-through rate. I should be, but what are you doing to like compensate and figure that out then?
So I have 2 cell phones, and that I use for work and personal. I'm supposed to have one personal and one work, but I end up doing work on both of them. But on one of my phones, it shows the 16,000 remotes. On the other one, it only shows the 300. So I've just been
okay. So which one is showing? Is it iPhone or Android? Or are they both the same?
Yeah. So this is the iPhone, the newest iPhone, and then my other one is the second newest iPhone.
So is it the old one or the new one that's working right?
The old one. But,
yeah, but it shouldn't.
I have a friend who only has one cell phone, and he focuses on sell-through rate like I do. There's videos on it. You can add minuses and you can add quotation marks. So when I add the quotation marks around that model number, it's significantly more accurate, but it's still not 100%.
But if they put Sony remote and then the number, they wouldn't come up if you quote, because it has to be exact.
Yeah, but if they so in order to sell remotes, you definitely have to put the model number in. You'll get so many returns if it doesn't have the model number.
So I guess if you did quotes just around the model number, it would work.
Yeah, so if you just type in quote RMT-V504A quote and then search it, then the results are more accurate, but I still get a few remotes that go to like the same unit but has a different model number, and those people are picky because they want the button with the voice command, or they want the button with the sleep mode, and some do and some don't. But it gets better when you use quotations. And then if you type in tailor-made, so I sell a lot of golf clubs, and I'll type in tailor-made RXT 8 iron, and it'll show me 6 irons and 5 irons and 9 irons. And so you can -4, -5, -6, -7. So that way it only shows you the 8.
So it's just a lot more annoying.
Yeah, significantly.
Well, yeah. Jake, why do you think that your phones are getting 2 different results? Because it wouldn't be because you have 2 different models, because the app would have to be fully updated on both phones, because it would be using the same, same level of the app.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird because it's the same. I don't have 2 eBay accounts. I just have the one 21 JRide. So yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know why it's different on both phones.
I think one of your phones is haunted. Try a little holy water on it. I mean, they're waterproof.
Will, someone actually posted in the chat here in regards to you saying about Terapeak about being different than actually looking at current comps on eBay. Yeah. And someone put in there because some of they said, is it possible that the comps you're looking in the last 90 days are not paid? They're either auctions or best offers that weren't paid for, and then the ones that were paid were actually showing up on Terapeak only. And I don't know if that's the case or not. I wasn't sure if you guys knew that or not.
That is, yeah.
No idea how to test it. No idea. Or a lot of times you can't even change it'll highlight completed and sold at the same time. You don't get the option to take off completed at all. It's just both.
So Squirrely Reseller says they spoke to someone on seller support team and said search is not working correctly, which obviously we all know, and neither is Terapeak, and they are attempting to fix it. So that is interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to pick a winner. It's been a while, and then we will do one more drawing. So this is for 6 rolls of American Bubble Boy tape, which is the best. It is all we use. and you'll just email me and I'll give you a code. So thank you, Joel, for giving me
Ping.
what?
Ping
Trying to
G's.
start, but the chat kept moving.
Stitcher, you are the winner. Email me thenurseflipper@yahoo.com. George, you are correct. eBay or WorthPoint shows the asking price. It does not show if an offer was accepted, where TerraPeak does. But like it might not have been an offer. You don't know. If you have nothing else to compare to, that's really all you have got to choose. All right, guys, hashtag list perfectly. You'll get a free month of list perfectly up to the highest. You can choose what month you get. If you already have list perfectly, they will refund you. So you can enter. They will refund you your payment for the month, which is absolutely amazing. So if you want to try it, or you already try it and want to get free for the month. All right, let's see what else we got.
Hey, real quick, before you move too far, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Asking about taking a loss on things kind of reminded me, I made a short a little while back. I don't know if people in the chat had seen it yet. When I pulled all these clothing items out of my store that weren't selling, I put them down to break even, could not get them out. I decided I'm going to make a reel, and I put on every single clothing item that I that I pulled from my store, and I wore all of my clothes of shame in rapid succession. It's kind of funny. Yes, women's clothing as well. I had to wear everything. Won't make that mistake again.
I bought like 5,000 shirts, and I think I sold 2. And I thought I would sell, and I gave them away to a church though that sent them overseas to missions at least. So they went to a good cause. But do you know how much room 5,000 friggin' shirts take up? And like, yeah, it was a horrible, horrible buy.
So Kat, with my question to everybody about when, where they live and where does, when does garage sale season starts, it looks like it's anonymous. I mean, unanimous across the board here for everyone that
it's starting in
May across the board throughout the whole U.S. That in May, every single state will be in full-on garage sale mode. So it looks like if you're in a cold area, it looks like May is the main time. So be ready, guys, because it's. Yeah, well, I mean, for a lot of us, it was different for a lot of other places in the U.S., but across the board, it looks like May for for no matter if you lived in the Northeast, looks like even the peak time for a lot of areas of Florida and Texas.
Did I just miss the flee across Florida?
Yeah, that's where I was last weekend.
Oh hell,
we talked about that.
Well, my butt was broke. I couldn't think. Yeah. My butt's still broke. I'm sitting on a cushion.
Yeah, I did absolutely amazing on the flee across Florida. So I definitely will do that again. Not so much the first day I did really well. I actually posted my first video today on the flee across Florida. Me and ADHD went out. So.
All right. Judith said only 63 items live. Is it possible to switch from free shipping to calculated?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you can both get it.
Yep. Again, if you can go to your seller hub, go to active listings on the left-hand side. There's going to be a thing that says business policies. Then you can go ahead and you can create a calculated business policy, and then you can bulk edit and apply them to all of your listings. You can also have eBay open in one tab, open another tab, and type that question into Google, and then it'll open up how to do that for you.
If you don't have your shipping specifics in, your weight and your dimensions, you got to put those in individually.
She said she does. She said she's weighed each item and put in the dimensions. So she's got that covered at least, which is good.
I'm going to start reading before I answer. What do you say?
Yeah, reading from it does help out a little bit, there. But I would say just keep in mind there is no such thing as free shipping, because if you switch from the buyer paying shipping, now you're paying shipping, so you're still paying that. So you may want to go in there and adjust the price of your items to impact the amount of money you're going to be giving out now for shipping.
Right. Yeah. So if you had them price calculating it in that you were paying it, and now you might need to adjust the prices, is what Rod is saying.
Yeah.
So Catherine says, had a buyer contact her. They didn't receive the offer. They sent them at checkout and they got charged full price. So she sent them an offer. They accepted. They showed her a screenshot. And she called eBay about it, and eBay reported a glitch. Has this ever happened to any of us?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
What was the first? I missed the first part.
She had a buyer. She sent a buyer an offer. They accepted, but then eBay charged the buyer the full price.
Yeah, it hasn't happened to me.
It has happened to me twice in the last month. And what I have done is I just discounted it on their invoice or sent them a refund for it because I know how much I send my offers out for. I do either 10% or 30%. So by when it's listed, I would know what I sent them. And it did. It happened to me 2 times in the last month. So there's definitely a glitch. But that's out of hundreds of offers, I will say, only 2 times.
So I did have this problem, though, with as a seller side of things, where I just sold. I had a buyer reach out to me, ask me if I would take at items list for $20. Asked if I take $15 per item. They're going to buy all 3. So I sent them an offer, $15 for all 3 items. Buyer accepted, paid for 2 of the items. The third item, it says on eBay the buyer has paid for it, but the buyer has not paid for it. So eBay is putting in as the item has been paid for. So when I go to ship the items, it says buyer has not paid for this one item, so I can't combine it shipping for it. The buyer hasn't paid for it, but eBay is listed as the item has been paid for. So I have.
What's the buyer say?
I reached out to the buyer twice now, and they haven't responded. So I think it's a viewer. So I mean, I shipped out the item anyway, just because I was waiting for the buyer to respond, and the problem is it got to the point where it said past due, and so I was like, well, I don't want the buyer. We were going to do a discounted shipping and stuff like that. At that point in time, I was like, it's $15. I was popping in. Hopefully, they end up paying for it. They don't. It is what it is. Not really worried about it, but I was trying to make the buyer happy because they want to buy all 3 items, but it's not the buyer's fault because it says on eBay the item has been paid for, but it has not been paid for. So I have that glitch. First time ever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
LaDon, I did not forget you guys. Let's do a round of super chats. Then we'll pick a winner and then we'll go back to the question. LaDon sent $8. Thank you so much. And then Marcella sent $2. Oh, she's having eye surgery next Tuesday too. Well, good luck for your surgery too, Marcella. I hope it goes well.
Hopefully it's not the same doctor.
I hope. I don't know the vet is pretty good. A nose for picking sent $10 and said, I look forward to Tuesday night. Been watching since COVID. Thank you, Cat Rod, and all your guests. Much appreciate it. You are very, very welcome. I'm going to give you guys this. So get in for List Perfectly because I'm drawing after we do this super chat.
Hi, I'm Doesnt.
All right. Let's pick a winner. Winner, List Perfectly dinner. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm calling Ping G. Ping G's going to win.
That does not look like Ping G to me. I know what Ping G looks like. Blazely, you got it. So shoot me an email and I will get you bye Rod.
Oh, Rod's out of here.
Rod's back.
So wait, now he's already back.
What just happened?
It just kicked me out when you
I
swapped.
thought you were just really mad it wasn't PG.
Yeah.
All right. So Blazely, congrats. Send me an email and I will forward your information over. Shirley is asking where I can find the right white rubber stopper for the Cuisinart 12 cup brew. I say eBay should have the parts to everything. Do you have any other advice, Jake?
Oh, I actually answered that in the chat already.
Oh, you found, okay. Jake's on it.
Yeah.
All right. Grandma Mary's Attic sold a Furby. They're returning it for reasons she described in the title, dusty and untested. He just sat on my dresser. Should I relist it or not?
Yeah, I'd relist it. If it's sold once, it's sold again. Just try to take a bit better, accurate photos, and then just put in the description maybe that it was dusty. Definitely put that it's untested. Am I understanding this?
No,
Yeah. You're understanding it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Just if it's sold once, it's sold again. It'll sell again. Just and some buyers are more picky than others. My favorite question is like I'll sell a pair of sunglasses, and someone will say, "In your opinion, 1 through 10, what is the?"
I won't answer them. I will not answer those people.
Well, honestly, like Kat might say these sunglasses are a 7 out of 10, while I might
I'd probably say they're 10.
3 out of 10. While Rod will say, "Oh, those are a 10 out of 10." You know, so it's just everyone has these different like.
I will
gauges.
not like, and I get people. I've had a few the last month. Would you describe this as perfect condition? No, I would not, and no, I would not like you to buy this from me.
Mhm.
I say no, it is a used vintage item. It is over 20 years old. No, I would not say it is perfect. And like I leave it at that. I will not rate things 1 through 10. I will not do the good, great, excellent. No, that's opinion based, and I am not doing it. No.
Yep. So I wouldn't say you did anything wrong. I would just relist it again, maybe try to take even better photos and just, you know, describe it a little bit better. But I don't think the next buyer will have the same issue.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree for the first time with you, Jake.
Sweet.
I don't sell untested stuff if I can possibly test it. And Furbies, you just pop the batteries in there and it either works or it doesn't. If there's stuff that I cannot test, I sell it for parts and maybe surprise the buyer that it works. I'll sell it as busted if it's totally untested.
Yeah, I mean, I've sold both. So I just had an item that I had listed for $100. The buyer got it, and it was like an Adidas jumpsuit, and it didn't fit at the proper measurements and stuff like that. They said they loved it. They returned it. I took a best offer on it, and I relisted it and sold for $100 this time. So I actually made $20 more when I relisted the item. So that stuff does happen. I would relist it, but I mean, if it's something simple as just popping in 2 batteries to test it, take the extra 10 seconds or a minute to do that, because you can actually even put that as more for premium if what the other ones are selling for. Based off if an item does work, and buyers will want those to work, and they will pay up for vintage items that do work, that are tested.
So I was a person that sold the Furbies untested previously, but now everything we can put batteries in, we do. And I didn't used to. I was like, no, I'm just listing it as untested. Here you go. Now we do put batteries in and test everything. So like if it's dusty, like I would wipe it with a Clorox wipe. I wipe almost everything with Clorox wipes and it doesn't bleach things. I would wipe them off with a Clorox wipe, throw some batteries in, and I would test them. And Rod's right. You'll get more money because then you'll put tested, or you'll know it doesn't work. So you can put does not work. And that way and I mean, you might know right now if he doesn't work because the buyer might have told you they put the batteries in and he doesn't work. And that might be why they're returning him. So look, I sold a Furby not working for $50. That doesn't mean that it will not sell. It could still sell.
And I don't know, like, this is a question for the chat and for the panel here. If you go on eBay to buy something and it says untested, I assume right away it doesn't work. Right? Yeah. That's right off the bat. I'm going to assume it doesn't work. So I am going to value that item as an item that's for selling for parts or does not work. So, and let me know in the chat if you guys feel the same way on that, because that's the first thing I'm going to think of. Because when I have an item I can't test, I put it as for parts, just like Will said, for parts, or say untested, selling for parts. It could work.
Maria says Noelle has a video that the Furbies might not work. You might have to shake them. And then they'll work. So go watch Noelle's video. Farm Girl Scavenger. We got two super chats. One is Scott paying because he wants to publicly recognize what a great name a nose for picking is. So
like
I'm gonna double them and get them, but we're gonna answer this first. If you have a porcelain statue that is unmarked but looks exactly like one that's selling for $595 that is not marked either, how do you tell the value?
In this, you can actually get in trouble, especially on Amazon and eBay and sites, for saying, like, for example, this vacuum is Dyson-like, but it's not Dyson. Or you can say that this, ceiling fan is Carrier-like, but it's not actually Carrier. So definitely don't say this is Bowen-like in your title. I don't know. I'm gonna defer to Kat.
But
on
they're
this.
saying it could be. So they're saying somebody's got the exact thing, but that's not marked.
But it's not marked. Yeah. So like,
I-
I mean, I
don't
have a
think-
ton of Louis Vuitton bags that look exactly like Louis Vuitton, but are not authenticated by Louis Vuitton. So I'm definitely not selling those.
Right. So, Noni, I'm going to disagree. There is tons of unmarked items that you can confirm are that company. So I do not agree with that statement.
Especially when it comes to like glass and other things. There's a lot that are marked or unmarked. They're actually from that company.
Yes.
Didn't Fenton do a lot of that too? They
Correct.
had a lot of stuff that
A
wasn't
lot
marked.
of Fenton is not marked, yes.
Yeah.
Which drives me nuts because I know nothing about glass. So I can never figure out, is it Fenton or is it not Fenton?
Mhm.
So
Not my niche at all, but in other niches, I refuse to sell stuff that I can't be 100% sure what brand it is because I want to be certain about the item that I'm selling. And if I'm not 100% certain, how's the buyer going to be certain? I usually don't list that.
Yeah.
So I want to
Kat
put this up real quick. So Lynn Kelly says you can contact Boehm. She used to sell it. So there is an easy way right there to figure it out. Sorry, Rod.
No, I was actually going to say I'm going to send it your way because I don't know what I would do in that situation, to be honest with you. And you handle more of that. That's more of your niche when it comes to pottery and glassware and stuff. So I will let you take this one.
So Noni's saying if I'm buying, I want to know for sure. Well, I'll tell you, how do I know if it's not marked? I know by my experience. I know by my knowledge. I know by my education. You learn. And you know. Oh, beam. Okay. I'm not good at pronouncing. If you watch me, you probably know that. I think, and it depends on what you're selling, but that's where you find a lot of the money, like unmarked, so they don't know this is worth a ton of money.
Yeah.
But you do. So I think if you want to do things, yes, George the Antique Nomad does check. I know he's behind. He said when he was on the show with us last, I think he charges $10 or $15 per item. There are a lot of unmarked pieces that you can verify, like Juliana jewelry is worth thousands of dollars. Not one piece was ever marked. Zero. You can get a book. You can look on websites. You can post in Juliana jewelry groups. People are typically very, very helpful if you have something you think is that. So you can, I love Jocelyn's group, Crazy Lamp Lady. I actually just posted a paperweight in there and nobody knew. It's the first time ever somebody didn't know. But a lot of things worth thousands of dollars are not marked, is all I will say. But you need to have the knowledge and expertise or pay or find somebody who does before you go and call it that. However, there, like Fenton, I know a lot of Fenton pieces that I can pick up. There are a lot of pottery pieces that I can tell you, yes, I know this is this maker. Crazy Lamp Ladies group is old things, thrifters, and pickers, knickknacks. We have added knickknacks to the name now. Old things, thrifters, and pickers, knickknacks. I think there are like 60,000 people in it on Facebook. And there are so many people that do vintage and antiques. 99% of the time they will help, or they'll be like, no, that's fake because of XYZ. Somebody in there probably knows about pretty much everything, which is why I absolutely love it. And here's the thing though, Noni, it could be marked and it could be fake as hell.
Yep.
Here's a good example.
Oh yeah, Louis Vuitton.
This is not real, but it's marked. So we're going to take that. I could lose my eBay account if I put this stupid purse up there. It's like desk decoration for the last 6 months for me, is what it is.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that we may look back at this time period and call it maybe like the fake Temu generation. Like Temu literally, so my friend that I go golfing with, he has amazing Scotty Cameron covers on all of his non-Scotty Cameron clubs. All of these covers retail for like $129 just for the cover. They look exactly down to the thread count and direction because it's produced at the same Chinese warehouse. He bought these off of Temu for $1.89 each. So like when it comes to like identifying this, especially like this category of like glass and vintage antiques and stuff, you're in a lot safer waters. But especially like the newer the products, the more they're faked, the more, so it's like you got to be really careful because especially if you've sold under 200 items, if you sell a fake Louis Vuitton, eBay might just say bye forever. No warning.
Honey might fit. Siggy said I could use it as a cat carrier. Honey might fit in there. Yeah. Timo, there's a lot of, you got to watch now. Okay, I don't want to forget. We got to do their super chat, and then we'll do one more question, and then we'll say goodbye because we are almost at our 10 o'clock mark. So this is for Scott and for Squirrely. And what are we going to do? Oh, we should do Kevin. We'll end the show with Kevin, even though I didn't see Kevin come in. We'll end the show with Kevin.
Who made that?
Yvonne Thrifty Rich.
That's awesome.
I gave her a request. And flippin' cute. I forgot to put you in there. I'm sorry. It's funny honey bunny money. Yes, funny honey bunny money. Brad calls him Henry because we named him Honey. We thought he was a girl. I'm not good at sexing animals. I say that by evidence by the 6 guinea pigs that live in my house now. So Honey is a boy. And Brad calls him Henry, but he's Honey. All right, last question. Dun, da, da, da. Here we go. I have a beautiful tie-dye jumper that has a slight perfume smell. I'm afraid to wash it. How can I get the smell out?
I literally just listened to Trash to Cash this morning, how Kevin said he put something in a wooden box for 6 months, and when he came back, the smell was gone. So that's something.
That's one way.
Like you can just air dry them, but like obviously you probably want to get your return on investment as quick as possible. I don't buy a lot of things that require to be washed, and everything that I do, I usually just clean with a spray bottle and a rag. So I don't have a lot of experience with getting out stains or smells.
Yeah, for the most delicate clothing items that I had to wash, I use Woolite. It's a really, really gentle soap, but I don't know anything about washing tie-dye. I don't know if tie-dye is typically washable or not. If I can't wash it, I'm usually not going to pick that up to sell it.
Scott, I love you.
I would say I've hung items outside before, so that's helped to get rid of smell. I've used dryer sheets and throw them in like a big blue tote and just do nothing but dryer sheets in there, and then that help get the smell out. Because I've come across stuff that's smoky smell. I've come across items that have like a fire smell from being outside, or just like an old dampy stuff, depending where they were stored. So it just depends on it. But I mean, I like you guys, man. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time doing it. If I can throw it, forget it, and then come back to it, I will. But
so Scott says vodka. Don't drink until you can't smell. You spray the garment with unflavored alcohol, and that will get rid of it. But I would be very worried with tie-dye that it would make those colors run, Scott.
Yeah, aren't a lot of dyes alcohol soluble?
I would be very worried about that. What I have done
either, so.
Yeah, like Barbie clothes, I put in a tote. I put a layer of charcoal, like activated charcoal for a fish tank, and then a layer of tissue paper, and then I laid the Barbie clothes out, sealed the tote for 3 days, and then the smell was a lot less, not gone. Somebody said ozone, you can do that too, but the ozone machine has a smell. My rental house still smells like ozone because I had to ozone it so many times because my house was so trash. Ozone has like a medical grade clean smell. That's the only way I can describe it. It has its own unique smell. I personally, if I had a tie-dye, I've washed a lot of tie-dye shirts without issue. If you didn't pay that much, I think I would wash it. I don't know why you're scared to wash it. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Anos, for picking no refund, Scott. All super chat sales are final, buddy. No refunds. Take Kevin, and you're going to be happy with him, buddy. Yeah, kind of like chlorine. Yes. Okay, let me make everybody big to say goodbye. And then we will tell you what he said any plain vodka, like no flavor, because you don't want it to have an odor. I bet Scott has a video on it too. All right, here's Jake to say like 2 words to you.
I'm going to say a few more this time. All right, my name is Jake. I go by JRide Flips across all social media platforms. If you follow me on Facebook or TikTok and you are offended by my short form content, just know that if you can trigger people's emotions, then you get paid a lot more money. So I don't even believe in what I'm saying most of the time on those platforms.
Satire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk about your podcast.
Oh, yeah. Tell them about your podcast.
Oh, yeah. And I have a podcast with sunny Las Vegas called the Reseller Island Podcast. If you want to check out the Reseller Island Podcast, we go live. Well, the video gets uploaded every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Perfect. Here's Will.
All right. I'm glad you're all tuned in here. You can find me on YouTube here, Reseller Madness, all one word, and that's where I put my long form content and the best of the best. If you want the experimental stuff and the stuff that may completely flop, I put that on Instagram, and hopefully you'll enjoy that there too.
Perfect. Rod, what do you got going on?
So as you guys heard earlier, Cat missed fleeing across Florida, but I didn't. So I actually dropped the very first video today. It's me and ADH Dave. We met up. We hit up some flee across Florida. If you guys don't know, it's a 250-mile sail across Florida. And we found one of the most disgusting things ever at a sail. So turning to see that was not very pleasant on my part, or his part for that one. And I'll be dropping on my Flipping and Punching channel. I'll probably be dropping a new video tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday on that one. So check that out as well.
And I said I was going to be on Knickknacks tomorrow, but I'm not. Sandy is on Knickknacks tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. I might do a pop-up on Whatnot tomorrow with some brooches and do choice on them in place of Knickknacks. And I will also have an amazing J. King Sterling jewelry sale this Saturday. I rescheduled it to 5:30 though, because Dalton has a birthday party he has to go through. So it's not going to be at 3 like it has been the last few Saturdays. It's going to be at 5:30. So I can go to the birthday party with Dalton. But I'm starting my J. King pieces at 30. Some of them are worth over 100. So if you're a reseller, there is room on quite a few of those. And Brooke has started cataloging. So if you guys want to look them up, feel free. And I will have a video out on both channels tomorrow if I make it. I think I will. That is my plan, to have a video on both.
I like to add one thing, guys. Kat just hit 80,000 subs on YouTube, so give her some congratulations in there. That's a huge accomplishment. She's now on the road to 90,000.
80% of the
We
way
want
there.
her to get to 100,000. She can finally get that plaque to hang up in the background of this channel for all the hard work.
I'll have to hold it. Like, there's no wall right behind me. I'll just hold it behind my head. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Next week, we are going to have One Foot Flipper and Geno's Finds, who made the majority of my super chats that you guys see. And yeah, so it will be a fun show next week. We hope to see you there. Bye, guys.